The stars were quiet that night. They had been quiet for billions of years, but on this particular evening something moved between them, something large, something hungry. Fleet Commander stood on the bridge of his warship, the Iron Fang. He looked through the massive window at the blue planet below. It was small. It was covered in water. It looked weak. "Commander," said his second officer, a tall creature named, "we have completed our scan of the target world." Did not turn around. He kept his 4 eyes fixed on the planet. "And what did you find?" "The species is young. They have only left their planet a few times. Their weapons are primitive. Their ships are slow. They have no shields, no plasma cannons, no jump drives." Made a sound that was similar to a laugh. "Another easy conquest. The Velar Empire grows stronger every cycle." The Velar had conquered 47 worlds in the past 100 years. They were masters of space. Their ships were fast and deadly. Their soldiers were trained from birth to kill. No species had ever defeated them in battle. "How long until we reach orbit?" asked. 6 hours, Commander." "Good. Prepare the drop ships. We will land troops near their largest cities. This will be finished before the next sun rises." Nodded and walked away to give orders. Continued to watch the blue planet. He did not know its name. He did not care to learn it. To him, it was just another world to add to the Empire's collection. But had made a mistake, a very big mistake. He had not studied this world's history. He had not learned about its people. He had not discovered what they called their planet. They called it Earth, and Earth had been fighting wars since before the Velar learned to walk. Far below, on a space station orbiting Earth, Captain sat in her command chair. She was 34 years old. She had short black hair and calm eyes. She had served in the Korean Space Force for 12 years. The station was called Sentinel-1. It was Earth's first line of defense against threats from space. Most days, there was nothing to do but watch screens and drink coffee. Today was different. "Captain," said Lieutenant from his station, "I am detecting something strange." Put down her coffee cup. "What is it?" "Multiple objects approaching from the outer system. They are moving very fast." "How many objects?" His face went pale as he looked at his screen. "Over 200, Captain, and they are not asteroids. The shapes are too regular. They are ships." Felt her heart beat faster, but she kept her voice steady. She had trained for this moment her entire career. Everyone had hoped it would never come, but deep down they all knew it would. "Show me," she said. The main screen changed to show a view of space. At first, saw nothing but stars. Then the computer highlighted the approaching objects with red circles. There were so many that the screen looked like it had a disease. "They will reach Earth orbit in approximately 6 hours, reported. Stood up from her chair. She walked closer to the screen and studied the alien ships. They were shaped like blades, long and sharp. They looked designed for one purpose only: war. "Have they tried to communicate?" she asked. "No, Captain. No signals of any kind." "Then they are not coming to talk." Turned to face her crew. There were 15 people on Sentinel-1. They were all looking at her, waiting for orders. Some of them looked scared. She did not blame them. "Listen to me," said. Her voice was strong and clear. "Today is the day we always prepared for. Unknown ships are approaching Earth with hostile intent. We do not know who they are. We do not know why they are coming, but we know what we must do." She walked back to her chair and pressed a button on the armrest. This button connected her to every military base on Earth. "This is Captain of Sentinel-1. I am declaring a Code Black emergency. I repeat, Code Black. Unknown alien fleet approaching Earth. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. This is not a drill." For a moment there was silence. Then the responses started coming in. From Korea, from America, from China, from Russia, from every nation on the planet. Millions of soldiers began to move. Thousands of aircraft started their engines. Hundreds of ships left their ports. Earth was waking up. ended the broadcast and sat back in her chair. She looked at the screen again, at the red dots growing closer and closer. "Lieutenant," she said, "open a channel to the alien fleet." "But Captain, they have not tried to contact us." "I know, open the channel anyway." Worked at a station for a moment. "Channel open, Captain, they can hear you." Leaned forward. She spoke slowly and clearly, knowing that the aliens probably could not understand her words, but she wanted them to hear her voice. She wanted them to know that someone was watching. "Attention, unknown vessels. This is Captain of the Earth Defense Force. You are entering protected space. If you come in peace, please respond. If you come for war." She paused and smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "Then you have made a very bad choice. You picked the wrong planet." She cut the transmission and stood up again. "Now," she said to her crew, "let us show them what humans can do. Everyone to battle stations. We have 6 hours to prepare. Let us not waste a single minute." On the Iron Fang, Commander received the transmission. His translator device converted the strange sounds into words he could understand. He laughed again. "The creatures are brave, that is amusing. What do you know about this species?" Checked his data pad. "They call themselves humans, Commander. They have been fighting wars among themselves for thousands of years." "Fighting each other," shook his head. "They are savages, they will fall easily." "Should I respond to their message?" "No, let them wait and wonder. Let them fear us. In 6 hours they will learn what it means to face the Veeler." Walked to his private quarters to rest before the battle. He was confident, he was proud, he was certain of victory. He did not know that on the planet below, billions of humans were preparing to fight. He did not know that humans had survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. He did not know that when humans were pushed, they pushed back harder. He would learn, very soon he would learn. And the lesson would be painful. The Veeler dropships fell from the sky like metal rain. They came down over Seoul, over New York, over London, over Beijing. Each ship carried 100 soldiers. Each soldier had been trained since childhood to kill. Commander watched from orbit as his troops landed. He expected the invasion to be quick. He expected the humans to run and hide. He expected victory within hours. He was wrong. Lieutenant Ho was eating breakfast when the alarm sounded. He was a soldier in the Korean Army, stationed at a base just outside Seoul. He was 28 years old, with a strong build and quick reflexes. He had joined the army because his father and grandfather had been soldiers before him. He dropped his chopsticks and ran to the armory. Other soldiers were already there, grabbing weapons and equipment. Nobody spoke. They had trained for this moment many times. They knew what to do. "Listen up," said Captain Park, their commanding officer. "Alien ships are landing near the city center. We do not know how many enemies there are. We do not know their weapons. We do not know their weaknesses, but we know one thing." He loaded his rifle with a sharp click. "This is our home, and nobody takes our home without a fight." Ho climbed into a transport truck with his squad. There were 10 of them in total. He sat next to Sergeant, a woman with cold eyes and steady hands. She was the best shot in the unit. "Are you scared?" she asked him. "Yes," Ho admitted. "Are you?" "No." She checked her weapon carefully. "I have been waiting for a real fight my whole life. Training gets boring after a while." The truck drove fast through the streets. Civilians were running in every direction, trying to escape the city. Police officers were trying to maintain order. The sky was filled with smoke and strange lights. They reached the landing zone in 15 minutes. Ho looked out the window and saw something he would never forget. The alien ship was huge. It was black and shaped like a sword blade. The door was open and creatures were walking out. They were tall, much taller than humans. They had gray skin and 4 eyes. They wore black armor that looked very strong. "Those are the enemy," Captain Park said. "Remember your training, stay calm, aim for the head or the joints. Let us go." The soldiers jumped out of the truck and took cover behind buildings and cars. Ho pressed himself against a wall and watched the aliens move through the street. They walked slowly and confidently. They did not seem worried at all. One of them saw a car in its way and kicked it aside like it was made of paper. "They are strong," Ho whispered. "Strong does not mean unbeatable," said. She raised her rifle and looked through the scope. "Let us see if they can bleed." She fired. The bullet hit one of the aliens in the neck, between the helmet and the body armor. The creature made a strange screaming sound and fell to the ground. Green blood poured from the wound. "They can bleed," said with satisfaction. The other aliens stopped walking. They looked at their fallen comrade with surprise. For a moment they seemed confused. They had expected the humans to surrender. They had not expected resistance. That moment of confusion cost them dearly. "Open fire," Captain Park shouted. Bullets flew through the air. The aliens raised their weapons, strange guns that shot bolts of blue energy. The bolts were powerful, burning holes through walls and melting metal. But the aliens were not used to fighting enemies that fought back. Ho aimed at an alien's knee and fired. The creature stumbled and fell. Another soldier finished it off with a shot to the head. The battle was chaos. Smoke filled the air, buildings burned, people screamed. But the human soldiers held their ground. They used the streets and buildings they knew so well. They attacked from windows and rooftops. They set traps and ambushes. After 20 minutes, only 3 aliens remained from the group of 100. They retreated back to their ship, firing wildly as they ran. Shot one in the back. Ho got another in the leg, and Captain Park finished it off. The last alien made it to the ship and closed the door. "Do not let it escape," Park ordered. But it was too late. The ship lifted off the ground and flew away, trailing smoke from damage it had taken. The soldiers stood in the street, breathing hard. They looked at the alien bodies around them. Green blood was everywhere. "We won," one soldier said with disbelief. "We won this battle," Park corrected him. "There will be more, many more, but now we know something important. They can be killed." Walked to one of the dead aliens and looked down at it. The creature was still holding its weapon. She bent down and picked it up. It was heavy but well balanced. "Captain," she said, "we should collect their equipment, study it, learn how it works." Park nodded. "Good thinking. Sergeant, you are in charge of gathering alien technology. Lieutenant Ho, help her." Ho walked over too. Together, they began searching the alien bodies. They found weapons, communication devices, and small tablets with strange writing on them. "What do you think this says?" Ho asked, holding up one of the tablets. "I do not know, but someone will figure it out." Took the tablet and put it in her bag. Humans are good at solving puzzles. While they worked, one of the aliens moved. It was not dead, only wounded. It reached for its weapon with a shaking hand. Ho saw the movement and reacted instantly. He grabbed the alien's arm and twisted it away from the weapon. The creature was strong, but Ho was trained in close combat. He put the alien in a hold it could not escape. "This one is alive," he shouted. Pointed her rifle at the alien's head. "Should I finish it?" "No." Captain Park walked over and looked down at the captured enemy. "A living prisoner is worth more than a dead body. We can learn from it, take it back to base." They tied the alien's arms and legs with strong rope. It took 4 soldiers to carry it to the truck. The creature made angry sounds the whole time, but it could not break free. As they drove back to base, Ho watched the prisoner. Up close, he could see that the alien was afraid. Its 4 eyes kept moving, looking at everything. Its gray skin had turned a lighter color. "It is scared," Ho said. "Good," replied. "It should be. It came to our planet looking for easy prey. Instead, it found us." Back on the Iron Fang, Commander received reports from all over Earth. The news was not good. Drop ships had been destroyed. Soldiers had been killed. Prisoners had been taken. "How is this possible?" demanded. "They are primitives, they should have surrendered." Looked at his data pad with shaking hands. "Commander, we have lost over 3,000 soldiers in the first hour. The humans are not surrendering. They are fighting everywhere, in every city, on every continent." Could not believe what he was hearing. In all his years of conquest, he had never faced such resistance. Most species gave up after the first attack. They begged for mercy. They offered to serve the Empire. But these humans fought like demons. "Sir," said quietly, "one of the prisoners reported something strange. He said the humans showed no fear, none at all. They looked at our soldiers and smiled before attacking." Smiled. Yes, Commander, they seemed happy to fight. Felt something he had not felt in many years. It was a cold feeling in his chest. It was doubt. "Send more troops," he ordered. "Double the attack force. These creatures will learn to fear us." But deep in his heart was beginning to wonder, what kind of species was this? What kind of being smiled in the face of death? He would soon find out, and the answer would change everything. 3 days had passed since the invasion began. 3 days of constant fighting. 3 days of blood and fire. But Earth had not fallen. Earth was fighting back. In a secret underground laboratory in Seoul, Dr. Sung worked without sleep. He was 52 years old with gray hair and tired eyes. He had spent his whole life studying physics and engineering. Now, his knowledge would be used for war. On the table in front of him was an alien shield generator. It had been taken from a dead Velar soldier. When turned on, it created an invisible barrier that could stop bullets and explosions. It was advanced technology, far beyond anything humans had built. Most scientists said it would take years to understand how it worked. Dr. Sung did it in 72 hours. "I found it," he said to his assistant, a young woman named. "The shield uses a rotating energy field. The frequency changes 1,000 times per second. That is why our weapons cannot get through." "Can we build our own shields?" asked. "Better than that." Dr. Sung smiled for the first time in days. "We can build a device that breaks their shields. If we match the rotation frequency and reverse it, the shield will collapse." His eyes went wide. "How long will it take to build?" "If we work fast, we can have working prototypes in 48 hours. Then we can produce them in factories around the world." While Dr. Sung worked on his invention, the nations of Earth united in a way they never had before. Old enemies became allies. Borders became meaningless. Every country sent soldiers, weapons, and supplies to the fight. General was chosen to lead the combined Earth forces. He was 60 years old, a veteran of many conflicts. He had fought in jungles and deserts and mountains. He had never lost a battle. Now he faced his greatest challenge. "Give me the current status," he ordered at a meeting of world military leaders. A young officer pointed to a map on the screen. "The aliens control 12 major cities. They have established bases in remote areas of every continent. Their total force is estimated at 200,000 soldiers. And our forces? Over 5 million soldiers are ready to fight, General. More are being trained every day." General nodded slowly. "We have numbers on our side, but they have better weapons and stronger armor. We need to be smart." He stood up and walked to the map. He pointed to the alien bases one by one. "They expect us to defend our cities. They expect us to wait for them to attack. They think we are afraid." He turned to face the other leaders. His eyes were hard and cold. "We will not wait, we will not hide. We will attack them, all of them. At the same time, we will hit them so hard that they will never recover." The plan was called Operation Thunder. It would be the largest coordinated attack in human history. Forces from every nation would strike every alien position at the same moment. The goal was simple: cause maximum damage and show the Velar that Earth was not prey. While the military prepared for the attack, Ordinary people did their part too. Factory workers produced weapons day and night. Farmers grew extra food to feed the soldiers. Doctors treated the wounded without rest. Teachers kept children calm and taught them to be brave. Even criminals helped. In cities around the world, gangs and criminal organizations put aside their activities and joined the fight. As one gang leader in Seoul said, "This is our planet too. Nobody takes it from us." The alien prisoner that Sergeant had captured was named. He was kept in a special cell and questioned every day. At first, he refused to speak. He expected to be tortured and killed. But the humans did not torture him. They gave him food and water. They treated his wounds. They spoke to him politely and asked questions about his people. This confused greatly. In the Velar Empire, prisoners were always tortured. It was the normal way of doing things. Why were these humans being kind? After 3 days, began to talk. He told the humans about Velar weapons and tactics. He explained how their ships worked. He revealed the location of the main fleet in orbit. "Why are you helping us?" the human interrogator asked. Was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke in his broken human language, which he had learned with surprising speed. "Because you are different, we have conquered many worlds. On every world the people surrendered quickly. They gave up hope, but you do not give up. You fight even when you cannot win. I have never seen anything like it." "We call it stubbornness," the interrogator said with a small smile. "It is more than that," shook his head. "It is something special, something the Velar have lost. We fight because we are ordered to. You fight because you choose to. There is a difference." The information from helped the humans prepare for Operation Thunder. They learned where the alien forces were weakest. They discovered how to jam Velar communications. They found out that the aliens were running low on supplies. On the night before the attack, General spoke to the world. His speech was broadcast on every television, radio, and computer screen. "People of Earth," he said, "tomorrow we strike back. Tomorrow we show these invaders what humanity is made of. They came here thinking we were weak. They were wrong. They came here thinking we would surrender. They were wrong. They came here thinking they could take our home. They were wrong." He paused and looked directly at the camera. "We are not perfect. We have fought each other for thousands of years. We have made terrible mistakes. But when we face a common enemy, we stand together. We fight together. We win together. Tomorrow, every soldier will carry the hopes of 8 billion people. Every bullet will be fired in defense of our children's future. Every victory will be a message to the stars. Earth will never fall. To our soldiers I say this: be brave, be strong, be human, and know that whatever happens, you have made us all proud." The speech ended. Across the planet, people cheered and cried and hugged each other. They were scared, but they were also ready. They were ready to fight for their home. At exactly midnight, Operation Thunder began. In Seoul, Lieutenant Ho led his squad into battle. They were equipped with Dr. Sung's new shield-breaking devices. The weapons worked perfectly. For the first time, human bullets passed through Velar shields and found their targets. The aliens were shocked. Their greatest advantage was gone. They tried to retreat, but the humans were everywhere. In the streets, in the buildings, on the rooftops. There was no escape. Similar scenes played out all over the world. In New York, soldiers fought through alien-held subway tunnels. In London, tanks rolled through streets lined with destroyed enemy vehicles. In Tokyo, fighter jets engaged alien aircraft and shot them out of the sky. The Velar had never experienced anything like this. They were used to easy victories. They were used to enemies who gave up. But these humans kept coming. No matter how many fell, more appeared to take their place. By sunrise, the alien ground forces had lost half their numbers. 12 of their bases had been destroyed. Their communication network was in chaos. On the Iron Fang, Commander watched the battle reports with growing horror. His grand invasion was falling apart. His soldiers were dying by the thousands, and the humans showed no sign of stopping. How, he whispered, how are they doing this? Had no answer. Nobody did. They had underestimated this species. They had made the worst mistake any conqueror could make. They had awakened a sleeping giant, and now that giant was very, very angry. 1 week after Operation Thunder, the war had changed. The humans were no longer just defending. They were attacking. They were winning. Pilot sat in the cockpit of her fighter jet, waiting for the signal to launch. She was 26 years old, one of the youngest pilots in the Korean Air Force, but she was also one of the best. Her reflexes were faster than anyone else in her squadron. Her aim was perfect. Today, she would need every bit of her skill. Today, she was going to attack the Velar flagship. The plan was crazy. Everyone knew it. The Iron Fang was the largest ship in the alien fleet. It was protected by dozens of smaller warships. It had shields that could stop missiles. It had weapons that could destroy a city. But Dr. Sung had found a weakness. The shield generators were located on the outside of the ship, along the lower hull. If those generators could be destroyed, the flagship would be vulnerable. Getting close enough to destroy them was the problem. All pilots, this is General, the radio crackled with the general's voice. You know your mission, you know the risks. The fate of Earth depends on what you do today. Good luck, and come back alive. Smiled and gripped her controls. Eagle Squadron, report in. One by one, the other pilots in her squadron confirmed they were ready. There were 12 of them in total, 12 pilots against the most powerful warship in the galaxy. The odds were not good, but had learned something important in the past week. Humans did not care about odds. Launch in 10 seconds, the control tower announced. 9, 8, 7. Took a deep breath. She thought about her family, her mother who had cried when joined the Air Force, her father who had smiled with pride, her little brother who had asked her to bring back an alien weapon as a souvenir. 3, 2, 1, launch. The jet roared forward. The Force pushed back into her seat. In seconds, she was in the air, climbing higher and higher. The blue sky turned dark as she left the atmosphere behind. Space was beautiful. Stars glittered in every direction. The curve of Earth glowed below, blue and green and white. Wished she had time to enjoy the view. But there was no time. The Velar fleet was waiting. I have visual on the enemy, reported. Counting, 53 ships. The flagship is in the center. Eagle Squadron, form up, she ordered. Attack pattern Delta. Stay close to each other. Watch for enemy fighters. The 12 jets flew in tight formation toward the alien fleet. Almost immediately, the Velar ships opened fire. Blue energy bolts streaked through space. Explosions flashed in the darkness. Evasive action, shouted. The pilots scattered, dodging and weaving between the enemy shots. One jet was hit and exploded. Then another, gritted her teeth and kept flying. Stay focused, we have a job to do. Alien fighters launched from the Velar ships. They were fast and maneuverable, but human pilots had been training for aerial combat for over a century. They knew tricks the aliens had never seen. Pulled her jet into a tight spin, letting an enemy fighter fly past her. Then she straightened out and fired. Her missiles struck the alien craft and blew it apart. One down, she said, keep moving. The battle was intense. More human pilots fell, but the survivors kept pushing forward, getting closer and closer to the flagship. Finally could see the Iron Fang clearly. It was massive, bigger than she had imagined. Its dark hull seemed to absorb the light from the stars. I see the shield generators, she reported. There are 6 of them. We need to hit all of them at once. Only 5 pilots remained. Quickly gave orders. Each pilot would target a different generator, would take the 6th one herself, making 2 passes if necessary. On my mark, she said, 3, 2, 1, now. The 5 jets dove toward the flagship. Velar guns fired desperately, but the human pilots were too fast and too close. One by one, missiles struck the shield generators. Explosions blossomed along the hull of the Iron Fang. 5 generators were destroyed, but the 6th was still intact. One of its missiles had missed. "I am going in again," she announced. "Negative, Eagle Leader," General's voice came through the radio. "The defenses are too heavy, fall back." "Negative, General, if I fall back the mission fails. I am finishing this." Pushed her jet to maximum speed. Warning lights flashed on her control panel. Enemy fire screamed past her cockpit. One hit grazed her wing, sending her into a spin. She fought to regain control. The flagship filled her entire view. The 6th generator was right in front of her. "Come on," she whispered, "just a little closer." She fired her last missile. For a moment that seemed to last forever, she watched it fly toward the target. Then it struck. The generator exploded. The shield around the Iron Fang flickered and died. "Direct hit," someone shouted over the radio. "The flagship's shields are down." Pulled her damaged jet away from the enemy ship. She was breathing hard. Her hands were shaking, but she was alive. "All units," General commanded. "Fire everything at the flagship now." Missiles launched from bases all over Earth. Some were nuclear. Others carried the new anti-armor warheads that Dr. Sung had designed. Hundreds of them raced toward the Iron Fang. Commander stood on his bridge and watched the human missiles approach. His shields were gone. His escort ships were too far away to help. There was nothing he could do. He said quietly, "Send a message to the Empire, tell them we have failed." Looked at his commander with fear in his 4 eyes. "What happened? They are just primitives. How did they defeat us?" Laughed bitterly. "We did not study them. We did not respect them. We thought conquest would be easy. We were fools." The first missile struck, then another and another. The Iron Fang shook with each impact. Fires broke out on multiple decks. Systems failed. Crew members screamed. Grabbed a communication device and called the Velar High Command directly. "This is Fleet Commander," he said. "I am requesting immediate reinforcements. The invasion has encountered unexpected resistance. We need—" The cold voice of High Commander cut him off. "We have reviewed your reports. The losses are unacceptable. The Empire will not waste more resources on this planet. But Commander, if we retreat now, we will never be able to. You should have considered that before you failed. The fleet is ordered to withdraw immediately. Earth is no longer worth the cost." The communication ended. Stood in silence as his ship burned around him. Commander asked, "What do we do?" Looked out the window at the blue planet below. The planet that had humiliated him. The planet that had defeated the mighty Velar. "We retreat," he said. "Order all surviving ships to withdraw to safe distance. We are leaving." "What about the soldiers on the ground?" Closed his 4 eyes. "They are on their own." It was a coward's choice. Knew it, but he had no other option. The humans had one. As the Velar fleet began to pull back, Pilot flew her damaged jet toward Earth. She was exhausted, wounded, and running low on fuel. But she was smiling. "Eagle Leader to base," she reported. "The flagship's shields are down. I am coming home." "We see you, Eagle Leader," came the response. "Medical teams are standing by. You did good work today." "Thank you," looked out at the retreating alien ships. "I think we all did." On the ground below, Lieutenant Ho and Sergeant watched the sky. They could see the distant flashes of explosions in orbit. They could see the alien ships turning and flying away. "They are leaving," Ho said with disbelief. "Not yet," replied. She checked her weapon. "There are still enemies on the ground. The fight is not over." She was right. Thousands of Velar soldiers were still on Earth, abandoned by their fleet. They would fight to the death. Defeating them would take time. But the tide had turned. The invasion was broken. Earth had survived. And the galaxy would never forget what had happened here. 2 months had passed since the Velar invasion. The last enemy soldier had been killed 3 weeks ago. The skies were clear. The war was over. Earth had won. But victory came with a heavy price. Cities lay in ruins. Millions of people had died. The world would need years to rebuild. Scars would remain for generations. Yet there was also hope. For the first time in history, humanity was truly united. Old hatreds were forgotten. Old borders meant nothing. People had faced death together, and now they would build a future together. Captain stood on the observation deck of Sentinel Station, looking down at Earth. She was different now. Her hair had turned gray at the temples. Her eyes had seen too much death, but her spirit was unbroken. "Captain," said Lieutenant, walking up beside her, "the ceremony is about to begin." Nodded, "I will be there in a moment." Today was Memorial Day, a new holiday created to honor those who had died in the war. Every country would stop and remember. Every person would think of the fallen and would deliver a message to the galaxy. The ceremony was held in the ruins of Sol. Where alien soldiers had once walked, humans now gathered. There were soldiers in uniform, children holding flowers, old men and women with tears in their eyes. General spoke first. He read the names of heroes who had given their lives. Lieutenant Ho, who had died defending a hospital full of wounded civilians. Dr. Sung, whose heart had given out after weeks of sleepless work. Pilot, who had survived the attack on the flagship only to die in a training accident a month later. So many names, so many stories, so many lives ended too soon. After the general finished, Captain walked to the stage. She looked out at the crowd of thousands. She looked at the cameras that would broadcast her words to the world, and beyond the world to the stars. "Today we remember," she began. Her voice was steady and clear. "We remember the friends we lost, the families that were broken, the children who will grow up without parents. We remember the fear, the pain, the darkness of those terrible days." She paused and took a breath. "But we also remember something else. We remember the courage, the sacrifice, the love that people showed for each other when everything seemed lost. We remember that when the enemy came, we did not break. We did not surrender. We stood together and fought for our home." The crowd was silent. Every person hung on her words. The Velar thought they knew us. They read their reports. They studied their data. They saw a divided world, a young species, an easy target, but they did not understand what they were seeing. They did not understand humans. His voice grew stronger. "We have fought each other for thousands of years. This is true. We have done terrible things to our own kind. This is also true, but this is only half the story. The other half is that we have also loved. We have created art and music and beauty. We have reached for the stars. We have dreamed of a better future. And when something threatens what we love, we become the most dangerous species in the galaxy." She turned and looked up at the sky, where stars were beginning to appear in the evening darkness. "I have a message for whoever is listening out there, for the Velar, for any other species that might be watching. Listen carefully, because I will only say this once." Her voice became hard as steel. "Earth is not yours to take. It belongs to us, to the humans who were born here, to the humans who died defending it, to the humans who will live here for millions of years to come. We have earned this world with our blood and our tears and our endless determination. If you come in peace, we will welcome you. We will share our world and our knowledge and our friendship. We are not monsters. We do not seek war. But if you come to conquer, if you come to destroy, if you threaten our home or our children, then you will find no mercy. We will fight you with every weapon we have. We will fight you with our bare hands if we must. We will never, ever give up." The Velar learned this lesson. They came with 200 ships and 200,000 soldiers. They left with broken hulls and shattered pride. Their empire will remember this failure for 1,000 years. Pointed to the ruins around her, to the broken buildings and streets. Look at what they did to us. Look at the destruction they caused. And then look at us standing here, still alive, still strong, still human. They thought they could break us. They were wrong. They thought they could defeat us. They were wrong. They thought they could take our planet. They were wrong. Her voice softened, but did not lose its power. We do not know what the future holds. We do not know what challenges await us among the stars, but we know one thing for certain. We will face those challenges together, as one species, as one world, as Earth. To those who lost loved ones in the war, I say this: their sacrifice was not in vain. Because of them, we survived. Because of them, our children will grow up free. Because of them, humanity has a future. And to any being in the galaxy who is wondering whether to test us again, look directly at the camera. Her eyes were calm and clear and absolutely certain. Earth remembers, don't come back. She stepped away from the microphone. For a moment, there was complete silence. Then the crowd began to cheer. People hugged each other and cried and laughed. The sound rose and rose until it seemed to shake the very sky. In orbit on Sentinel Station, the remaining crew watched the ceremony on their screens. They cheered too, though they were few in number. Far away in the depths of space, a Velar scout ship picked up the broadcast. The crew watched Captain's speech with growing unease. When she finished, the ship's commander turned to his officers. "Delete all records of this planet," he ordered. "Remove it from our star charts. Mark this region of space as forbidden." "Sir, will anyone believe that we were defeated by primitives?" The commander looked at his crew with haunted eyes. "They are not primitives. They never were. We were just too arrogant to see it." He turned back to his controls and set a course away from Earth. Perhaps in 1,000 years someone will forget this lesson and try again, but it will not be us. It will not be our children, and it will not be our. Earth is not worth the cost. The scout ship jumped to faster-than-light speed and vanished. In its wake, there was only silence and stars. Back on Earth, the celebration continued late into the night. People danced in the streets. Music played from every window. For the first time in months, there was joy. Sargent stood alone on a rooftop, watching the festivities below. She had survived the war, though many of her friends had not. She wondered sometimes why she was still alive when so many others had died. A sound behind her made her turn. A familiar figure climbed up onto the roof. She said with surprise, "I thought you were still in custody." The alien walked slowly toward her. He was wearing simple human clothes now. His gray skin looked almost silver in the moonlight. "They released me," he said. His human language was much better now. "They said I helped enough during the war. I am free." "What will you do now?" Looked up at the stars. "I do not know. I cannot go back to the Empire. They would kill me for helping you. I suppose I will stay here, if you will have me." Considered this. 2 months ago she would have shot any Velar on sight, but the war had changed her, changed everyone. "You helped save lives," she said finally. "You told us their secrets. You are not the same as the soldiers who came to kill us." "I was exactly the same," said quietly. "I would have killed you without hesitation, but then I saw how you fought, how you cared for each other, how you never gave up, and I realized that my people have lost something important, something we forgot long ago." "What is that?" Hope looked at her with his 4 eyes. "You humans have so much hope, even when everything is dark, even when death is certain. You hope and you fight and you survive. We Velar have forgotten how to do that. We only know how to conquer and destroy." Thought about his words. She thought about the friends she had lost, the horrors she had seen, the darkness that sometimes crept into her heart. "Maybe you can learn again," she said. "Maybe that is why you are still here." Nodded slowly. "Maybe I would like to try." They stood together in silence, watching the celebration below. Human and alien, former enemies, now something else. Not quite friends, but not enemies either. The night was full of stars. The future was unknown, but Earth was safe. And somewhere out in the galaxy, a message was spreading. A warning, a promise. Earth remembers, don't come back. And the universe listened.